We are everywhere. I can tell everyone in the world, we are everywhere. And the quality of individuals that we put out are of the hierarchy that controls a lot of the major dynamics of the world.
Oftentimes, we as human beings, we have a deep fear of the unknown. I'm sure many of you would have heard of secret societies, Freemasonry, for example. I have here a group of Freemasons who are here to answer any of my questions, and they did give me exclusive permission to ask them literally anything. The group that you see here, some might choose to refer to them as a secret society, but these brothers would much rather to be referred to as a society with secrets. The only person privileged enough or equipped enough to do the ultimate introduction of all of the members sitting here would, of course, be the Grand Master himself. So, good sir, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Murdoch. I am the Honorable Rashid Graham, PhD, Philosophical Doctor in Occult Studies, Philosophy and Science. I am the current most worshipful Grand Master of the most ancient and honorable fraternity of the Masonic Order of Mizram, along with other titles and ranks. To my right is the Honorable Dr. Bevian King. He is here representing the Supreme Grand Egyptian Order of Mizram, the 90th and final degree of the order. And here to my left, we have the Venerable Brother Ronald Cole, who is the Venerable Master of one of our subordinate lodges here within the territory of Guyana.
Freemasonry in general requires a belief in a supreme being, which most would refer to as God. You need to believe in God in order to be a Freemason. However, Freemasonry itself shies away from defining a specific God. You guys refer to that entity as the Grand Architect. The Great Architect, that is. How do you guys reconcile theological differences within the organization of persons of different faith?
Well, in Lodge, we do not condone political discussions or religious discussions. Everyone have the independent right to believe and practice whatever religion they see fit. Outside of the lodge, we may encounter discussions and our ideologies of the different religion, but it is not judged and it is maintained in a peaceful way.
A typical lodge meeting is very similar to those of the Lions Club or the Rotary Club. You have your roll call for members that present or absent. You have a structured segment called the order of business that you would go through, reading letters, correspondences, and casting votes for new members, talking about different charity events, and it isn't nothing.
Some of it is
long,
be like checking on the welfare of members of the lodge. We will check on their physical health, if anybody is in any form of distress, and how we can help each other as brothers, a part of the lodge. So those are like some of the roles that we do there. We look into everybody's personal affairs, if anybody's having any financial difficulties, if anybody is having any community difficulties, and then we collaborate together as brothers and sisters of the lodge to assist and aid in brothers, because it's based upon it's a fraternal organization. So when you to piggyback a little bit, we were saying just like what is it typically we do there, different from like in religious and things. We're not a religious organization. We're one of the oldest fraternal organizations. So when it comes to what we do in the lodge there is in elevating of a brother. If any brother or any sister is having any society difficulties, we see how best each member can contribute towards aid and to help in that specific aspect of it.
And before we go any further, I would like it to be known that what we are talking about is our particular tradition of Freemasonry. You must first understand that Freemasonry is not a united body. Freemasonry, you have the Anglo-Saxon tradition of Freemasonry upon one hand, and on the other hand, you have the liberal tradition of Freemasonry. Right? We are all Freemasons, but we have different practices, different traditions, different ways of doing things. We are a part of the liberal tradition of Freemasonry. And anything that we may speak and say here does not apply to the other traditions of Freemasonry. We speak about our own particular tradition within the liberal branch.
Is there like a hierarchy in particular as it relates to the ranks of Freemasonry? And if so, where do you guys rank?
Well, you see, Freemasonry have a lot of rites, orders, and initiatic societies. A rite, R-I-T-E, is a specific system of degrees, right? However, the lodge is the bottom level, which consists of the first 3 degrees, which everyone already knows about. Beyond the lodge, you have different rites and traditions. However, we particularly practice what is known as the modern rite of Mizram. The modern rite of Mizram is a structure within Freemasonry that was founded in 1788, in Italy, right? And it consists of 90 degrees. Our organization also has sovereign jurisdiction over the Rite of Memphis, which consists of 95 degrees, which was founded in 1815. And finally, we have jurisdiction over the United Rite of Memphis Mizram, which the Rite of Memphis, the Rite of Mizram, was combined and united as one in 1881, and consists of 99 degrees. However, the degree structures that I'm speaking about will probably leave a lot of individuals wondering, because most individuals only believe or know that Freemasonry has 33 degrees, but no, it goes a lot further than that. And the degrees of these rites or traditions are esoteric in nature and not really philosophical.
A lot of the symbolism that has been adopted by Freemasonry have oftentimes been tied to satanic practices, mentions of the Illuminati and these kind of things. Some of these very symbols I see on the garments that you guys wear right now, namely the Eye of Horus, the compass, and these kind of things. What are the practical meanings of these symbols in Freemasonry?
Yes, well, I can give you a little bit insight on that. Some of those symbols were hijacked and used for certain people's own purpose, but they have their initial purposes it was intended for. The square and the compass is a symbol because those are the tools used by the stone builders, and those tools was used, and as time goes by, those tools applied to oneself, where the compass is to create the circle, and the triangle, right, is to square a person's behavior, square a person's action. That's what the square is for. So most of it, so in Freemason, we have our purpose for it, but as time goes by, people tend to hijack those things for their own self benefit, and that's how it got labeled as using it for like for wicked things, and it plastered out there as thing. But all of that, at the end of the day, has no merit. There is no evidence anybody could come forth and say like, the compass is used for world domination or is used for this. It has no merit. It has no facts to tie into that, that this is what it's used for. Because a lot of things can be used out of context But in Freemasonry, the square and the compass, those are the tools used by stone builders.
These symbols that individuals take and give an evil meaning originally never had that meaning. If you take the cross and turn it upside down, it is a representation of Satanism, correct? If you take the five-pointed star and turn it upside down, it becomes an evil symbol. Now look at this. The cross in general is an ancient esoteric symbol that symbolized the east, west, south, and north. You see? It also symbolized the four elemental kingdoms. You see? The elemental kingdom of the east, west, north, and south, with the earth realm or the earth bound within the middle, that identifies that our world and the spiritual realm is crossed. The five-pointed star, ancient meaning of it is a representation of the five elements: water, fire, earth, air, and spirit. You see? So what these perverse individuals do, they take symbols that have a positive meaning, turn it upside down. And the triangle with the eye is not an evil symbol, neither is it a outstanding logo for the Illuminati. The eye in the triangle originated from ancient Egypt. It is a symbol to ward off evil, you see, with the eye inside. The Roman Catholic Church used it at one time and called it the eye of providence, whereas the all-seeing eye of God watches you and watches over his flock, his people. But the triangle in general is another esoteric symbol. The triangle represents the three creative principles: alchemical salt, sulfur, mercury. The Christians turn around and call it the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. Look to ancient Egypt, Isis, Horus, and Osiris. Hindus, Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu. Yes.
I should just ask very directly, why become a Freemason versus joining a church, joining a mosque, joining a temple, joining any other major and more so openly accepted religion, club, join a cricket club?
Freemasonry is a, I would not call us a gentleman's club, because we are not. We are an esoteric fraternity, right? And in this esoteric fraternity called Freemasonry, or the modern Rite of Israel, not speaking about the other Freemasons, I can only speak about us, right? But one thing we all have in common is we are not a religious organization. We do not get involved in religion. However, our members are Muslims, Christians, Hindus, whatever religion that they see fit. I am neither. I am neither Muslim, Christian, nor Hindu. I am of a different cut of the cloth. You see? My brother over here, Muslim.
Christian.
You see?
Yeah, Christian?
Yes.
As in Jesus Christ Christian?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I am a spiritual practitioner. You see? I am what you would call Bokor in the Haitian voodoo practitioner. You understand? And yet, we are friends.
What I would say, and the reality of it is this: the difference is, if you look at the track record of Freemasons and see the type of individuals that come out of Freemasonry, there is no organization, no church that can stand in scrutiny against us. Some of the world leaders, Freemasons, scientists, some of the greatest inventors are Freemasons. You see, when our ancestors and our
most of the founders of these modern day religions were also Freemasons.
Because the main requirement is to believe in a higher power, whomever you choose the higher power to be. So that's where you find the intertwining of the religion and Freemasonry of itself? Because, like I said, this guy is a Christian, you're a Muslim, and he's a spiritual practitioner.
What was the name given to Jesus?
Jesus is, as in,
Carpenter, the trade, not the name.
yeah,
the trade.
the trade, yeah,
carpenter.
the carpenter.
Symbolic to Freemasonry.
Why maintain secrecy in a society of transparency, especially in 2026? We're no longer in days of old. Why is it so important to maintain secrecy in modern day society?
Because, all right, let me put it this way, right? If everyone knew who we were, what we're about, there'll be no need to join us. If they could have gone buy our books online and read it, there would be no need to join us. However, Freemasonry is the heirs or the heirs, right, of all of the ancient world esoteric teachings, schools, and traditions. You see, Freemasonry is embedded in over 500 years of knowledge, dating back from Pythagoras, all the way back, you see. So with this knowledge that we have, it is given in stages called degrees. The lower you are, the less you know. The higher you are, the more you know. So I cannot give a first degree knowledge for the 46th degree.
Walk with me mentally, everybody. Walk with me mentally, right?
Sure.
Christianity promises not only the heads of the church, as in the pastors and the elders, special type of powers. Anybody who believes X, Y, and Z among the power. Almost every major followed religion promises some type of special power, spiritual awakening, supernatural gift.
The word is promise.
Promises.
We don't
right?
promise. We deliver.
Which is exactly what I'm trying to grasp at this point. Christianity, for example, I'm going to use Christianity a lot and Muslim, because that you guys can relate, because it's the religions that you already follow, right? What is different, and not just if you want to, Christians believe in healing. Somebody is blind, they believe that you can lay hands on them and heal them.
How much people
Is there an equivalent in Freemasonry that is proven?
There are techniques, there are symbols, there are signs, and there are numbers. These particular entities that I've mentioned, or components, once you have the knowledge to utilize them, it is not a promise. It's an actuality. It happens. We make things happen by using natural elements and mathematics and opening the minds of persons to be able to see the unseen, to hear the unhear, to do what they think they cannot do. And if you look at all of the great persons within society, for example, Tesla, they said he was a madman when he said he could have pictured his invention and put it together within his mind.
Dr. Sebi.
Correct. So
Dr. Sebi was a Mason?
Prince Hall.
Pardon me?
Hall.
Prince Hall.
Prince Hall.
So you understand, what we do is open an area for you to be able to accept high science and utilize it to be able to progress yourself, society. For example, when you receive this enlightenment, you might end up being the next inventor of some amazing or miraculous entity or invention. As you can see, Albert Einstein was a Freemason. Thomas Edison, Freemason.
Napoleon Bonaparte, Freemason.
So
You know.
these are
So
brilliant
if
individuals.
such is the case, why do we seem to devolve rather than evolve? Because
Who's we?
Who has been Like, all right, let me address Freemasonry in general, since you're referencing these persons as these great people that are doing these great things. Why haven't we seen another Nicholas Tesla in years? Why haven't we seen another Dr. Sebi in years?
One of those reasons are exactly what Grandmaster was elaborating on. You see, we have become too complacent, and we have allowed too many persons within our circle. And it went from traditional Freemason to liberal Freemasonry, where we now look to take not only being a gentleman's club, but go back to our origin to become the esoteric part of Freemasonry, to get those kind of persons back into our society and to be able to help mankind to at least save whatever good we have remaining in this world.
Question. Do you know about Aleister Crowley?
I know very well about our Aleister Crowley. Do what thou wilt.
Do you know that Aleister Crowley was a 99th-degree Freemason?
I'm very scared of that. 99% of the public would not know what we're talking about
Yes.
here. We would know what we're talking about. And guys, I'm not a Freemason. I just read a lot and research a lot. But Aleister Crowley, if you look him up, very scary guy.
He was known
Continue.
as the world's most evilest man.
Yeah.
Why?
Why? That
Because
is the
he
image.
had an unusual amount of spiritual knowledge, and he
People
put it
couldn't
into
understand.
practice and created esoteric orders. Aleister Crowley has numerous books on esotericism and high science, we would call it. S.L. McGregor Matters, the writer of the Lesser Key of Solomon, or not the writer, but the translator, you know, and these is just a few names, you know.
Aleister Crowley, however, since you would have touched on it, and I would trust on the persons watching to do their due diligence and look this up, because we don't have enough time to do a deep dive into all of these things. I'm sure you guys would know Aleister Crowley was a brawling Satanist. Like it was out there. And a lot of his teaching, a lot of what he taught was the intentional misdirection of the public. Like, for example, writing in backward, learning how to talk in backward, and these kind of things. The intentional misdirection of the
Yes.
public. It has taken shape a lot in even pop culture today. A lot of times you might see a t-shirt, and the t-shirt has "do what thou wilt" on it,
And
but
it means
people
sub-
don't
subliminal
understand the
meaning behind
meaning, the subliminal meaning behind it. People don't get the meaning behind it, but they're using it, and it all ties back to his initial agenda, the misdirection of the public, because you're wearing this as fashion, but you don't know the true meaning.
The thing about it is, right, a lot of the writers of these occult and esoteric books, yes, a lot of them were Freemasons. The reason why these books, because a lot of them did, the reason why these books are written in certain formats, whereas sometimes they're written backwards, sometimes key elements are left out of the formulas or the books in general, is because if you have not been initiated into the mysteries, or what we would call the ancient mysteries, which is broken down into the lesser mysteries and the greater mysteries. If you have not been initiated, therefore you would not know what you're looking for. And a lot of times this is how people is hurt themselves. But you got to understand that those guys back in those days was more darker than us. You mess around, you find out.
If me father is a Freemason
Yes.
and he die, do you guys remove my father's tongue out his mouth, turn your head backward?
Who's answering that?
Because that is a common belief of the public. But you guys have a
So
chance to answer.
without giving our rituals secrets out there, I will say this. Our core value is secrecy. And what we do is that when one of our brothers or sisters has died and is ready to leave this world and travel to the afterlife into the great architect's arms. What we do is we do a ritual to ensure that that journey is smooth and that they reach where they have to go. Now, we do not take possession of anyone's family member without their permission. That's the first thing. We ask to initiate the traditional ritual to allow him to have great passage to the life of the beyond. And to speak about your question in regards to the tongue, in our society, we believe that in life, or in your past, your next life, or in death, that you must maintain secrecy. And symbolizing that to the members that are still remaining, right? The action or the symbolic gesture that you have just explained, right? It is part of our obligation to allow these other members to know it must be maintained at every single cost.
So for the persons that can't really decode that a very intricately woven statement, it's a yes.
It is a traditional element of who we are and the rituals and functions that we provide for our brothers to be able to travel into the afterlife freely, as well as to show the remaining brothers that secrecy is a core value that must be maintained at all costs.
If at any point in time there is refusal
The
from
back
the
of the
family,
neck thing, absolutely not.
you don't turn the head around, and I can't look at my father in the face on your funeral day. That's not true.
No, not. In regards to the cutting out of the tongue, I would like to add, Hindus have their own way of preparing the body and doing their ceremonial acts.
Yeah.
Same as the Muslims. The Christian church have their own, whereby the coffin is taken in foot first when it is a normal individual or a member of the church. If it is a priest or a bishop or a pastor, they are taken in head first. All of that is symbolic. So we have our own symbolic traditions. You know, same as I hear a lot of people say, oh, let's put people in coffin and nail them down. Absolutely lie. We do not put no one in coffins and nail them down. However, the coffin within Freemasonry, it represents you dying to your old self. The old you must die and pass away so that the new you can rise up and come forth. You see? It is similar to baptism. When you enter that water, you leave the old you there, the old you dies, and the new you arises.
Symbolically, yeah.
It is symbolic.
Another concerning aspect of Freemasonry to the general public is the mention of sacrifice, namely or particular. I'm not talking about animal. Nobody cares if you kill a chicken and you don't do you. You understand, if that's your ritual. But I guess the part that is more so concerning to the public is the sacrifice of children, the rape of children, as well as various mentions of homosexual initiation rituals within Lodge. Would you like to speak to those also?
Yes, sure. When it comes to, like, when you're going to say child sacrifice, that contradicts brotherhood, liberty, equality. You understand? So there is no reason or no need for nobody in a lodge to participate in child sacrifice. That is outside of, I don't know what organization or what cult does that, but it's not something to do with Freemason.
Is there any ties to anything pertaining to the Bohemian Grove? Do you guys deal with any of those? Before I ask a follow-up question.
No.
Okay. Because sometimes Freemasonry is oftentimes confused or tied to practices of those who go to the Bohemian Grove and practice, and it's also been linked with the Illuminati in many cases. By
That's them
extension,
American boys, man.
yeah, by extension, a lot of times, and even locally, a lot of times, it is said that these things require sacrifice, that they favor eating certain body parts of children and these kind of things. I mean, it's not just speculative. It's a wide, like it's public knowledge.
Yeah, well, if somebody could tie that in, like, if they put all of this into into their calculation, I would like to know how they arrive at, like, was
Have
it
they ever went? Have
eating
they
a
seen
body
it?
part? Like, like, why would you eat somebody? Like, what it does? Like, do you get extra nutrients out of it? Like, I don't see how, somebody, like I said, when people don't have
Listen.
the information that they want, they tend to create something to satisfy their self.
There is no factual evidence to us in any homosexual acts. We are all heterosexual. We like girls. You know what I mean?
How do you respond to allegations that Freemasonry operates an elite power network with the aim of ultimate world domination?
Let me say this.
Go
I'm
ahead.
more practical than my brothers. Let me say this. We are everywhere. I can tell everyone in the world, we are everywhere. And the quality of individuals that we put out are of the hierarchy that controls a lot of the major dynamics of the world. And that is not no secret. What we are is a chain link fence that is tight knit, that we cordon off, and we create a network to be able to help societies that are dysfunctional by creating proper leaders, proper medical officials, proper legal officials. And that is what we do. We're helping the world to be a better place by allowing our network to be able to grow within a society.
Is there any aspect of Freemasonry that, if revealed to the public, would be of great concern or any concern at all?
No.
Historically, Freemasons have included presidents, judges, business leaders. How do you avoid conflict of interest when members hold these public offices?
So, like we were telling you at the beginning of this interview, we deal with high levels of morality. And once we keep claiming our core value as morality, integrity, and honesty, it means that we teach our other brothers and sisters out there that those things should not be compromised at any extent. And that you must maintain those core values of the lodge even in your professionalism. But what I will tell you is that if I'm a Freemason and I go into a courtroom and I see that the magistrate is also a Freemason, you will not know, but I will show him his due respect. We will signal each other and we will move on and the case will proceed. If I was an attorney. So I'm just giving you an example so you can have a clearer picture of what happens. So persons say these things that there are preferential treatment because they might see a movement of a hand, of a ring, or some kind of gesture, and they automatically sense it as a signal for maybe a dismissal of a matter. We do not condone acts of immorality. For example, if a person come in there for a charge of rape on a child, there is no way with our guidelines and principles and core values we would ever have any of our brothers or sisters have preferential treatment in judgment at all.
What would you say is most challenging about being a Freemason?
Rumors, fake ideologies about us because they have no knowledge of who we really are.
If Freemasonry was to disappear from the world today, what would the world be losing? If Freemasonry
The world
is to
would be
cease to
losing
exist
backbone.
The world would not be a world anymore.
Because every Mason, at a certain degree, with the amount of knowledge, if it was the work was to reduce to a small amount of the population, every Mason have the knowledge to restart. and build back this world to its original. Those are some of the laws and some of the principles that's been instilled on a Mason at a certain level. That if the art was just to reduce down to like two persons with the knowledge, with the guidelines, and with the amount of power that you would have achieved on your journey and your eyesight, you could start back civilization.
The world would not be a world. The world would actually stop. Because, be honest with yourselves, who is who are Freemasons. Who controls the dynamics of the world are Freemasons.
A lot of other lodges, lodge members would be very angry with us for talking straightforward, but, it's the truth. Today marks a very historical moment within Guyana, because this is the very first time in the history of Guyana that members of the Fraternal Order of Freemasonry have ever came out on a panel to sit and talk about Freemasonry in general. We have not done this in over 150 years. You see, this organization is well over 200 years old. We have been around for a very long time. You see? But as the tides of time change, we must adapt to modern times and the changes in order for Freemasonry to continue to survive and remain relevant. Mm-hmm. So people may say, oh, Freemasons are rich and they get a lot of money and That's not what it's all about. It is about the values. I could say I got more money than God. Put that aside. The values and the principles that the organization teaches you and instills in you is what creates great men among nations. We don't deal with this scrape head thing. We don't deal with this judgmental thing. No, we do not. You see, we are in the business of making men great. Me, who would have ever known that I would be sitting as the Grandmaster today? I came up as a little boy walking the road barefooted, asking for $1 and $2. You understand? Freemasonry took me from the age of 17 years old and shaped and fashioned me into the man that I am today. You see? And there are many more individuals out there with the same sentiments and love that we have for Freemasonry. You see? And if I was to die tomorrow and come back again, I would rather be a Freemason all over again, because there's nothing as fun as being a Freemason. Nothing.